Tervetuloa seuraamaan Maailmankuvia-sarjaa. Tätä jaksoa kuvataan Lilleorussa, Virossa. Täällä minulla on vieraana Indrek Verro. Seuraava keskustelu tullaan käymään englannin kielellä. Hello, Indrek Verro.
Hello, Timo. Hello.
We have met here a few times, and I have remembered that you have very interesting story about your spiritual journey. And now it's time to record your story.
Okay, very good. I don't know if it's interesting or something because this is the only story that I have.
It must be interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
So, where all began? You have been born and raised here in Estonia, and can you tell something about yourself from your background?
Okay, I was born in Tallinn. I was born in Lasnamäe. Lasnamäe is like this. I don't know how to say it in English. Like there are those big beton buildings that a lot of people live in one building, and there were mostly Russians living there, and I was also there, and I had of course Estonian friends in there, but most of them they were Russians. I was born into a really good and nice family. I had really good parents, and I had a sister. About spirituality, I think we had zero in our family when I was young. At least I didn't know anything about it. So and my father and my mother, they didn't do any yoga or something like this.
How about some Christianity or some other virtues, that kind of religions? Things?
No, actually nothing. No religions and zero, totally zero for me. Yeah.
Where you did get this kind of first spark for this looking for a spiritual journey? How did it all begin?
I think for me it started a lot earlier. It was already when I had moved from Lasnamäe, and it started like this, that I remember the first time when I had this like interests, that I understood that there is something more than only this physical life, because I had some weird experiences in my dreams.
Can you more define those?
The dreams, like usually when you go to sleep and you have a dream, then it's just like a dream. But those dreams, they were like this, that you were like, now I know that I was like conscious in that dream, that they were totally different. It was really happening. And then I woke up, and then I was like, oh my God, now I'm here, but then I was there where I was, and I had these like questions going on. And after that, 1 year after that, basically, I think it was something like that, my father died. And after my father died...
How old you were in that time?
I was 30 years old. Yeah. And after he had died, he came to my dreams. And I had the same thing. These were not just dreams, they were like, I was really talking to him. And he said some of the things that only my mother knew. And when I said afterwards, when I woke up that to my mother was like, how did you know that? And then I understood, okay, there is something more going on in here. But this was really interesting for me.
Did you were aware about yourself that you were sleeping at bed and still at the same time you were in this dream world, fully consciousness? Did you have that kind of aware about your body and so on?
No, I didn't have this experience. Yeah, but I had this, that I was conscious in that point. But it's really hard to explain what it is actually. When at least in that moment, I just knew that it's totally different than a normal dream, and I could really speak to that person, you know. And when my father died, they have this religious or this spiritual thing that after 40 days the soul leaves, and exactly on the 40th day, father came back to my dream, and I was going with him. He had a backpack, he had a stick in his hand, he had boots. And I was walking with him on this stair that is going up and up and up and up till one of the doors. And on that door, we were hugging, and he said that now he's going away and he's going to his journey or somewhere there. And
After that, you haven't got.
I have. After this, also had some.
So, but in that time, it was something what your father have to do in this after 40 days.
Yes. Yeah.
And then come back.
Yes.
When you were in this conscious dream, could you make very strict observations about your surrounding where you were?
Yeah, I could observe something in there, but it wasn't something really like detail and bright as that. But when you're conscious, then everything that you see is totally different. You are already, you see much more detail, you see much better. Yeah.
Did you carry that kind of dream world already from your childhood?
No, not that I know of. No.
Did you have some experiences in childhood which are about consciousness, like out-of-body experiences?
I don't recall out-of-body experiences, but I remember some of the things now. That I had these questions. I really had these questions. One time I remember I was looking out of the window. I was living on the 7th floor and I was looking down. I see the people walking in there. And I was really, I can't even remember how old I was. I think somewhere 6, 7, maybe 8, something like that. And I was already then asking the questions. Okay, I am here, you are there. Why are you there? Why am not I there? How? Like these questions, and and then after these questions, I remember I had some kind of experiences. I don't know what they were. I can't even remember them, but I remember that these questions led to something. Yeah, and one other time was this, and I was lying down on the grass, and I was looking up. I was looking at the clouds, and I was looking at the sky, and somehow I knew that somebody was looking down. Not like looking down, but there is something else in there, and I could really feel it, and I like understood that we are like in some kind of a bubble or something like that.
Yes.
So this kind of experience I had.
So
it was a short one, but I had it.
Some kind of connection was built with something which was there looking at you.
Yeah. There was something.
And that made that bubble.
Exactly.
Yes.
And but this, I didn't watch this like with really, oh my God, what was that? This was just some kind of experience. But afterwards, when I came to yoga, and then I understood. I started to remember those things because I had already forgotten those things.
Yes,
so,
yes. This happens usually.
Yeah.
Did you have any imaginary friends when you were a child?
No imaginary friends. But I had a different experience with this kind of thing. I was afraid to be alone. I was really afraid to be alone, to go to sleep. And when I was alone, home alone, and I woke up turning the night, then I couldn't move, even 1 millimeter. And I was like this all the time till the light came up, the sun rise, and I could start to hear some other noises, and then I could move myself, because I had this feeling that there is somebody. But at that point, I already knew that it's not a human.
It was some energy what you're sensing.
At that time, I didn't know what I was sensing. I knew that there is something like, and you know, I was 30 years old when I was so scared. Still, when I woke up during the night, I was so scared one time when I was in my country place, and my father and my mother, they were also there at that time, and then, or was 29, and then they went away. They said, okay, now it's time to fight back. I will stay here alone all night long. And you know, they went away, the sun started to go down and it got darker, and I had these like weird feelings, and then I was so afraid. I took my keys and pushed the pedal and drove away. Like I was 29 years old. I was so afraid.
It's interesting, very interesting. So, what kind of career you choose when you came to as an adult?
Actually, I didn't, I think, choose it. I don't know. Maybe, yeah, of course, people always choose themselves, but there was this one family friend or something that had a sports club, and he one day just called me. Now, you're coming to my club and you are going to be a trainer. And I was like, okay, why not? And so I started to work with people as a trainer.
Yes.
At that time.
And if you're thinking about that surrounding, working surrounding, was there any kind of ideas of spirituality, or is it just out of those?
No. In that time, I was really going more. Now I see it, that I went more far away from those things. I didn't believe those things. When somebody was talking about it, they said, oh, you're talking bullshit. I don't want to hear that. And I was really going far and far and far away. And I had, anyway, coming up really difficult part of my life at that time. Yeah.
Do you want to tell about it?
Yeah. After the high school, I went to serve in the army. And then when I came back, I went to university. And then I started to party a lot, like usually students do in universities. But for me, it went totally over, over the line, totally over the line. And I had this till I reached Ingvar. I was really, in one point, now I watch it back, it's like I don't even have this 10 or 12 years in between. I just don't have them anymore.
In that way, we have a quite a similar past.
Okay.
Yes. So, but was this, when you met first time Ingvar, was it the beginning of that spiritual awakening, or you was telling a little bit more about that when you first time came along, but was it already when you met Ingvar, or was it earlier?
I met Ingvar like this. That I went to his course because my sister went there, and she told me that you need to go there. You need to go there, for sure. And I trusted him, her. And when I went to Ingvar's courses as a trainer, I always wanted to develop. Really, I wanted to get the answers. I had so many questions. But when I was studying in university, in between I went to study another thing in university. I went to every course that there could be, really, in every course. But I didn't get the answers. I just didn't get the answers that I was looking for. And then when I first met Ingvar in his course, and he was saying only a few sentences. And already in these sentences, there were so many answers for me that I could even get in 10 years. So,
what was those questions which drives you when you wasn't met Ingvar yet?
Mostly at that time I had these questions because I was a trainer. I wanted to train people that they could really get help, to live a healthy life, to get like most people have the problem with the fat, and they have different problems. But when I was training them, when I fixed one of the problems, then another one came up. Then I fixed this one for them, then another one came up. And it was like, you could see that I can do this like in 10 lifetimes and they don't go away. I had this feeling. And then that was the main thing. I wanted to reach somewhere where these things get the answer. I didn't know the exact question, but I wanted the answer for that.
Yes.
And
some kind of inner feeling that your questions hasn't been answered yet.
Yeah, exactly. And from the Ingvar's courses, I could, from the first moment I saw him, I said, yes, from here I get everything, for sure.
What was the subject of this Ingvar's course in that time?
The first subject, the course when I went, was the releasing emotions. The 5-body system and the releasing emotions. Exactly this 5-body system that he could so easily explain about all of the system, that how it goes, because for me everything was together. I could see that people have these problems, emotions and thoughts and those different ideas. Now I train like that, now I train like that, no, now I want this and this. This was the problem, but he made it so logical. Then I could see that, okay, when we reach to that, then yes, we get rid of those problems. It's so easy.
So you mentioned that only few sentences was already giving some answers. Do you remember those sentences?
No, I don't remember. But I think the thing that were in, like, behind the sentences, Ingvar himself, like he could give me so much, like how to say, I was insecure, and after that I felt so secure when I met him. This thing that comes from him, it's like you're in the right path, you're in the right place at the right time.
Yes. So it was kind of a moment when you realized that my path starts here, and right now this is my teacher.
Of course, I had a really big ego. Really
we all do until we do something.
And I remember my first idea of this was that, he has a lot of good ideas. I take the ideas and I put them to work for me.
Well,
like a normal person does.
Yes.
So no, I didn't. At that time, I didn't have this view of life about like a teacher and something like that. But I had this inner feeling that it is like that. Now I see that I had this. But because religion and all of those yoga things, they were like, what is that? Why? Bah, no.
This kind of yoga teachings and religion behind of that wasn't in your life in any way until you met Ingvar.
Yeah, actually, Kriya Yoga came to my life even earlier, even later.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So how long this process actually took time? To example, when you met the first time Ingvar and then you realized that, okay, I can take those ideas, but not yet.
Yeah. Right now I'm 39 years old, and I met him when I was 30 years old. Or it was 31. Can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But basically the same. First years, it was, I applied the techniques, my life got better, but my life was really bad. It was really bad before that, because all of the drinking and partying and all of the other stuff, it made my physical body really sick. I was really sick, and it was, I weighed 110 kilos and everything like that, and it was really hard actually to get out of this in the first place. To get to really see that, okay, there is a different path. I somehow saw it, but your ego and everything still takes so much over, and it's really hard to stay on it. And I think after 3 or 4 years, 4 years maybe, I went more deep with the techniques and all of that. I did them all the time before that also, but then I really understand it. Oh my God, I can really, really, really change my life with that. In that, I just knew, yes, I can change it, but I didn't know how much I can really change it. But then I really saw it that I can basically change everything. There's nothing that I can't change, and it's not theoretical; it's practical. So it depends everything only on me. And when I was 35 years old or 36 years old, then I had done all of the 5 courses that he has. And for me, after the 5th course, I had this like a inner calling or something that now next one is Kriya Yoga. And then I started to read about it. Before that, I didn't even know that there is some kind of Kriya Yoga or something like that. And then I read about Kriya Yoga, and I said, oh, Ingvar is teaching that in here. Oh my God. And then it was like a logical thing for me.
Yeah, it sounds like that.
Yeah.
So, when you had this process, processing years with those techniques and so on, did you experience something spiritual which keeps you going, something unexplained?
Yes, I had. I had one really deep experience. This was something, I think it was exactly before Kriya Yoga. I had a lot of, now I know it was Kundalini that rose up, and I had a lot of it, and I was at that point for some period. It lasted for some weeks, and I had this connection with everything. And everywhere that I watched, I knew what it was, basically. Okay, I had this mind that was still active, and this ego that was, of course, mixing everything together, but the experience was really, really deep. And then I could see where this Kriya yoga and everything this leads to. What is waiting for, like, in there. But as my problems and things were still pretty big, then when Kundalini rises, then all of the other problems, they also come up like that. So that was the negative side of it. And then I knew that I have to go more deep to clean all of this unconscious part of me to really get to this experience purely. So.
And those techniques what you are learning with Ingvar, it's about those unconsciousness feelings and emotions, things, get rid of those.
Yes, in the first part, yeah, it is like that. The first course is about 5 body systems. Second one is how to release emotions. Third one is how to release bad concepts. And after that, the fourth one is how to use the awareness, the 7 super qualities of consciousness. And the fifth one is about the true self. These are a bit different from the first 3. The first 3 courses are about how to get rid of the unconscious part, the negative unconscious part, and how to clean this part. And then when you've done this work, then you have something else waiting in there. That doesn't mean that you can't go to those courses already when you're cleaning your unconscious part. This is really good. And
well, it sounds very good technique. I haven't get know that so much that I could ask even more from it. But anyway, so your life has changed. How about those other people was around you, your family and friends and working mates? How they saw this, what was happening into you?
You know, this experience that I was just explaining, after this experience, I didn't even want to live this normal life anymore. Okay. You know, in one point I got my stuff and I went to my country place and I said, okay, I don't care about this physical life anymore, I stay here. Because the experience was really deep. And you could see that there is no point of other stuff. But of course this was my ego that was thinking that, but I couldn't separate it from other stuff at that time.
That moment.
Yeah. And this period also lasts for like 2 years or something. Or one year, something like, exactly. And then when I got out of that one, then I started to come back.
What took you out from that hermit stage?
Ingvar. Yeah. He was like, he didn't tell it to me straight, oh, don't do that. But he's a teacher, he's a master teacher. And he's teaching you in every different level or way that you can only imagine. And getting these hints and teachings, I understood that this is not the point of just being in a cave and being there. There is no point of that. So a point is how to change your life. That's the point, how to live a better life and how to help the others also to live a better life. And then by easy steps, I came out of it.
Well, I guess when you go for 2 years to some countryside cottage and don't talk anyone, your family and other people might be worried.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I wasn't living there 2 years. It was some period that I went there, but the period itself that I was more deep in myself, this lasted about a year and a half or something like that. But yeah, I think for them it wasn't so easy because most of the friends, they were telling me all the time, now you're all the time gone, you don't speak to us, you don't do that, you don't that. But I didn't see any point of that at that time. Yeah. And but my family, okay, I didn't have my father anymore, but my family, my mother and my sister, they were really understanding. I talked to them and I explained what I was experiencing, and they really understood. They like, leave me be.
Well, that's wisdom from them.
Yeah, that's, if I look at back like that, then that is really something, because I see also some of the people that they struggle with the family. It's really hard when the family doesn't understand it, doesn't understand what you are going through, what is your experience, how do you see the world right now. So the support from the family, this is really, really important.
How about relationships? Did you have difficulties with relationship when you had this kind of party life?
I really didn't have any relationships. I had the short ones. When I had this party life, it was, I really had those short ones, like 1 year or something. But you can't even say a relationship to that when you're like partying all the time. Okay, you're like living with somebody or something like that. But
sometimes it can be seen also that when you're doing lots of parties, it's kind of symptom from something. And when you don't, when you are under symptoms like a partying, you are not able to focus on yourself, and especially then you are not focus and cannot focus to other people's.
Exactly. I didn't exactly as you say. It was exactly like that. It was a really, really hard time. You know, I afterwards now I understood some of it, why I was drinking so much all the time. Really, I was drinking a lot, and it was just to get away, just to get away of the way of those negative emotions, and I didn't want to feel bad. And when you feel bad, then you think, oh, why not I drink? Then I feel good again. But in the morning you wake up again, the physical body feels really bad, and
you're spumping again.
Yeah, exactly. It's like going in a circle, and but the thing about it is, it's even worse than going in a circle, because the circle is going more deep all the time when you're in it. So you go more deep and deep and deep and deep. And in one point I saw that when my physical body was really sick, then I could feel that, okay, 50, 20 years for that body, not more. Not more for sure. I just felt it like that.
Yeah. So what happens after this hermit's time period was over?
When this period was over, then I was also at that time I was also started to do some changes in my work as a coach. I started to cooperate with beach volleyball players that I still work today, and I started to put my energy in there to seek some solutions for them also. And I also started to see the training totally different way, because also this experience I had a lot of knowings and ideas how to do things differently. They were totally 180 degrees the other way, like I was used to, that I learned in university. But we started to apply, because those guys that I train are also Ingvar students. It's really easy to work with them, to apply the same things. And me as a coach, I was developing a lot, and in a really, really good and a fast way. This was one of the things. Then I sat down and I was looking at my life, and then I understood what needs to be done in here, what needs to change. Okay, I need to change how I live. I need to change how I party more. At that time, I wasn't partying that much, but I still had some of the things inside that I had to still get rid of. And I was really like making like I was like watching my life like this. Okay, I have this and this and this and this. And I went every time more deep with that. And I understood what needs to be changed, what needs to be do more, what I don't need to do anymore, because there is just waste of time or something like that. And I think this was the main thing, that I started to understood how to really, really change the life. It's not only applying the techniques, but it was taking more like this, how the whole thing went together for me.
You probably recommend for everyone those courses of what Ingvar does. Are they very expensive?
You know, it depends on how you look at it. In my opinion, if I see on what people are giving their money for, then I look at it like this, because I know the value of this course. I really do know the real value of it. Okay, in the beginning when I first saw it, I didn't know the real value. I was trusting my sister and I was trusting my first experience. But now I see really deeply the value of this, and the value is really, really good. And it's really big, and it really changes the life of a human being. And I think you can't sell this really cheap. But this price that we have right now, I think it is cheap compared to other prices that I see in the market that are in there. So in my opinion, everybody can apply that, because it's only one time when you do that. Okay, if you take 5 courses, then you have to take 5 times. But already going to the first course, you pay only one time this. But you can apply the techniques for eternity. Yeah. This knowing is a real knowing.
Good answer.
Oh, okay, good. I got it too.
Yes. Well, you was talking about earlier that it took time until you was can make that kind of commitment that you will be Ingvar's student. So what was that last happening which concerned you that you will be his student?
Okay, I understand that for me in the beginning it was exactly the same. Okay, there is one point now when I become his student, but really it isn't like that. It's a bit different. It is a bit different because when I went to these 5 courses, then I went to Kriya Yoga, and when I came here in Lilleoruun, I came here first time when I started Kriya Yoga, not when I did the other courses. And then when I was here one time, I saw that people are gathering in here, and I was like, what's going on? They said, now the Ingvar's practice starts. I said, what's Ingvar's practice? You don't know? I said, no. Ingvar's practice is where all his students come here who are involved with Lilleoruun and this community here. And for them, he gives a different practice that is even more deep than his Kriya Yoga. And then I said, okay, there's something more even. Oh, very nice. Of course, I wanted to come here. Then I applied for that, and I could come here. And then this was first time for me when I started to feel that I am his student. No, not this way. It's that I started to feel that he's my teacher. This is the correct way, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Before that, it was the courses, and it was Kriya Yoga for me. And there is this really master teacher, or this guy that knows basically everything. But we had this distance. But when I came to that, then I felt that this distance is changing, and I could really deeply see from inside of myself that he's a teacher of me.
Yes. If we look back your life, this meeting with Ingvar has changed a lot about you. Is there still something what need to be worked out?
Oh yes. There are a lot of things that needs to be worked on. You know, in this path there is one very interesting thing. When you go to university, for instance, then you learn there 3 years. You get this theoretical and some practical knowing, and you start and you finish, that's it, and then you go to apply it in your life. But learning in here, this is endless. Where is the end? I don't see the end. Well, so you just go more deep, and you discover you discover totally different things in there. And you start to ask questions, okay, but what do I do with these things? How do I use these things and these things together? And so on, so on. And when you know that, then you discover the next things, other stuff. And then you start to ask again, but what I do in here? And it's like it's continuous, it's endless, it's continuous.
So basically, at the moment there is not something what you would like to concern, but you let life bring those things what you need to be concerned.
Not so. Yes, of course, life brings those things, but there are my own ways that I see that it needs to be done. One of the things is this, that I am also a teacher, that I teach the first and the second course. This is one of the most important things for me, to give these teachings also to the others. This is really, really important to do it purely.
It happens here.
Yes, it happens here also, but the courses are all over the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all over the world. We have teachers everywhere.
Okay.
So
it has quite fastly movement.
yes,
It's a great movement.
Yeah, and it's growing all the time. Yeah, it's growing all the time. So this is one of the things that I understand, that it's not that I need to focus on it, but I want to. From myself, I really want to do this. And the second thing is my work that I have. That is also the same thing. For me, it's not different. For me, I do the same things in there. I apply the same teaching in there with those guys also. And another thing is about all the unconscious things that I still have inside, that I sometimes feel, or I have some ideas that I don't see anymore, that they fit to my life, so I need to change those also. So I still work with things all the time.
So what is, if I can ask like this, that what is your main goal, ultimate goal with this movement and this spiritual journey? What is your primary goal?
The primary goal is always one. I think it's for everybody that is in here. Is maybe, I don't know, maybe it's not. But for me, is to be true self, to be as a true self, but to discover this and get your roots in it and to really stay in there. That's the goal of the teaching. Of course, the teaching doesn't end in there. You come back also to life from there, but to really recognize the true self and stay in this, and to go more deep and to relax in it. This is the main goal for me.
How do you would define future human who has gone through this process and these teaching techniques? What kind of will be human 2.0?
That's really good that you asked that. That's a really good question. You know, exactly, I think it was yesterday or something, 2 days ago, I was watching the thing in this planet, that is what is happening with the people and everything. And I was exactly doing the thing, same thing, that I was looking at life right now. I saw what are those problems that people have, and where does it all lead to. And it's wars, and now we have the economical problems, then we have problems with the nature coming up and everything. But what's the end of that? There will be no human being in one point, in my opinion. I don't know how long it takes, but we destroy ourselves like that.
Yes.
But then I was applying it to the teaching. And I have experience. I have a really good experience with the students in here, that we apply those qualities of consciousness, those 7 qualities of consciousness, and we cooperate together. And what comes out of it, it's something totally else. It's totally different. And then
Can you define it more?
You mean the cooperation? It's about really understanding. It's not about mental understanding. It's not about emotional understanding only. It's really the consciousness gives you a totally different point of view for life. Totally, you really see the connections between you as a subject and between the objects, and you start to understand what needs to be done. And not only you understand it, but when you cooperate with these people together, they all understand it the same way. Yeah? From the consciousness, and then we see, like, if there are like 10 people that see it like this together, then we work as one. There are no like 10 people there. We are like one all together. And the cooperation, it sometimes goes like a miracle.
Is it like that you are sharing same consciousness about things what you're doing?
The consciousness is one. Yeah, exactly. But sometimes we experience it like, oh, this is my consciousness and this is your consciousness. But actually it is one thing.
Is there also coming those telepathic experiences when you have that deep kind of connect?
Yes, there can come those also. Yeah.
And those, that kind of abilities like a telepathic and so on, does they belong to future human?
Exactly. Yes, this is exactly what I was talking about. In my opinion, let's hypothetically say that everybody, like we have 8 billion people right now, maybe even more, everybody would apply them. We wouldn't have these unconscious reactions, negative reactions, or those ego ideas that I need money and stuff like that. And we would work all together. We would change we would change the nature back to his natural way, but we cooperate with the nature, how to live in it, how not to destroy it, but how to live together, to make the cooperation also with the nature. Right now in the world we don't see that, but in my opinion, then this would be like a paradise, or how to say it.
One consciousness.
Yes, one consciousness, and everybody understands why this is all happening even here.
In a Hollywood movie that there was those blue long humanoids, there was a little bit about this. I don't remember that movie name anymore, but there was this same one consciousness. Do you remember that movie?
No, I don't. Avatar.
It was Avatar.
Avatar, yes.
There was a little bit similar idea about nature and the people who lives there.
Yeah, exactly. And there are a lot of movies that have really nice ideas. I don't know where they've got those, but probably everything comes from one place. There are a lot of really good ideas in there that they do in the movies, and you see, okay, this is the quality of consciousness. They see it in there like that. And this would be really nice. Yeah?
Maybe there is collective consciousness for this humankind, and some sensitive people can get those all same ideas about those consciousness and how it should be developed and so on. And maybe Ingvar is one of those who have those keys for collective consciousness, and maybe there is many others, but like this.
That was really nicely said, that Ingvar has the keys. I think so also, that he has the keys.
Yes. I guess it started to coming to end this interview, so what would be those words and ideas what you want to share for audience who is watching this episode?
I think I would say this from my experience, that whatever you have in your life, whatever you have, problems or not problems or whatever, you can always change them. There is always a way to change them. Sometimes we feel that, oh my God, I can't change it, I can't do anything. But there is always a way to do that. The question is how. And this is the problem that humans have. We don't know how to do it. Yeah? But this course gives you a lot of answers to your questions, and you start to get the answers how to do those things, how to change your life. And even sometimes if you don't want to change the life, then maybe you should ask the questions, okay, but if I would change it, what comes after it? Maybe this is an interesting question for them to ask.
Thank you for this interview, Indrek. It was a pleasure to see you and talk to you, and you have a nice wisdom to share others. Thank you.
Thank you, Timo. Thank you very much for inviting. Thank you very much.
you.